welcome to World War G, Ogden, Utah's #1 podcast. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
You guys suck.
Okay, so I have a story I need to share with you.
Yeah. Gather around, everybody.
Before I do that, though, I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
What do you remember about our interview with Nichelle Nichols back? This was way back in 2015.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think.
What do you remember about that? Now, if you don't remember who she is, she was the lady who played Uhura on the original Star Trek series.
Oh, yeah. Man, I remember she wasn't that kind. And, she thought she was a much bigger deal than what she actually was. If I'm remembering correctly. Didn't we walk away feeling... Was that her? Or am I thinking...
You might be thinking of somebody else.
No, I'm thinking of the gal from Star Wars. That's who it was. Purple chick.
The green.
Oh, the green? I don't know.
Well, you're just all over the place. Well, and for her, we didn't even interview her.
Oh, yeah. We went up to her, kind of talked for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I was thinking of somebody else.
Okay. So if you don't remember, we interviewed her, like I said, back in 2015. Now, keep that in mind as I continue on with the story.
Yes.
Last Tuesday, I was at the GF's place. We were watching TV, and we were trying to find something new to watch. And we came across this show called Who Do You Believe on ABC.
Yeah.
So we watched the first episode, and it was fine. And the premise of this show is they give you two counterpoints about this. It's not necessarily true crime. It can be, but basically this legal dispute that happened between these two people, or this ongoing feud between these two people.
Yeah. And
they give you both points. They interview the people involved.
Do they give you, the verdict?
At the very end.
At the very end? Okay.
But they also kind of leave it up to you, who do you believe? Who do you believe? So we watched the first episode, and like I say, it was fine. It was this domestic issue with this couple, and yeah. But we get to the second episode, and it's Nichelle Nichols.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And her thing was her estate and everything, and basically control of all of her assets were being fought over by two people, her son and her talent manager. And I said, when we started watching, I'm like, you know what? I said this to the GF. I remember when we interviewed her from Fanex, we had a really weird experience. We went up to her and we asked the guy she was with, we said, hey, do you mind? Like we usually do.
Yeah, the handler, yeah.
Yeah, do you mind if we, interview her? We'll be really quick, couple minutes in and out. And he goes, yeah, you can do that, but you can only talk about this particular project.
Right.
Called Omaha Street.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Coming back
to it. Yep.
Okay. And we thought, that's weird, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did that. And I was telling the GF this, and she was looking at the TV, and she goes, was that the same guy you talked to? And I was looking, I'm like, no, I think it was a younger guy. I mean, this was 7 years ago, right?
Right,
This was 2015.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I think it was a younger guy. So we're going along the episode, and I think, light bulb, we recorded that interview.
Right. Yeah.
It's on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
So I went and looked, and motherfucker, it's the same dude.
You really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
While he was in this heated dispute with her son, where basically this guy, this talent manager, had pretty much tried to claim all of her money. He had put her name in his house.
Yeah.
Basically convinced her that she needed him.
Right. Yeah, right.
And he said, back in 2013, I had her going back to conventions, and she was making $40,000 a month. And that was in 2013. We interviewed her in 2015.
Yeah.
And what he wanted us to talk about, they had mentioned in the episode.
Oh, seriously?
This Omaha Street thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there
Was
watching.
that like his claim to fame?
Well,
like
it
that
was
like his personal project that he wanted her to do.
It was like this passion project of his.
Yeah.
That he has wanted to get off the ground and never has.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm sitting there looking and I'm like, motherfucker, it's the same dude.
Wow.
We had talked to this guy.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, in the middle of this whole big, struggle and scandal that's going on, there we were.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of all this.
Oh, wow.
Talking to her about it.
Small world.
Yeah. It was crazy.
That is.
It like broke my brain because he's right there on our YouTube channel. It's like, there he is.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I have to turn this video over to somebody?
Is this
like
evidence?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is this evidence? Like, what should I do? But if you watch it, he is almost coercing her into what to say. It's like, and those that grew up LDS or were in that religion will understand when kids go up to give their testimony, their parents will go up and they'll whisper to them and then
in their ear,
they repeat it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what was happening in that video.
Oh wow, okay.
And now having all that context,
right?
It's freaky to watch it again. Yeah.
Dang it! Now I have to go back and watch this video. Yeah.
Well, watch the episode. Yeah. Who do you believe on ABC was like episode 2?
So what was the verdict though?
Well,
I mean, I know you spoiled the episode, but
her son eventually got the conservatorship for her.
Okay.
So he's now kind of in control of everything, and the other dude's been pushed out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Why doesn't she have control of, like, or say a video?
Because her mental faculties are going.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
She's getting dementia and
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'd much rather have a close, like, family member or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like, he even, like, technically kind of married her at some point, and it was...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a mess. But anyway, yeah, go check out our YouTube page. You have to scroll pretty far down. Like I said, it was from 2015. Find our interview with Nichelle Nichols. You'll see that dude. I think his name was Glenn something. I can't remember now. But yeah, and then go watch that episode of Who Do You Believe, episode 2, and it's the same fucking dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right. Now, let's get to Everybody Loves a List.
Everybody loves a list.
So I found this on Ranker.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of good lists. I think from now on, when I do a list, I'm going to pull it from here.
For the most part, they've been pretty accurate.
This is 14 masterpiece cartoons that never got the recognition they deserved.
Okay.
So these,
I can already think of like 3 that I'd like to see on this list.
Well, we'll see if they're here. Number 14, Hysteria. So if you remember shows like Animaniacs, if you remember shows like Tiny Toons, if you remember shows like Freakazoid, this was basically the stepchild of those same people.
Right.
Hysteria was an educational cartoon, but aimed to be actually funny. The show covered historic events and figures with skits and entertaining songs. So it's basically those clever songs from Animaniacs, just an entire show about it.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember watching this show, and it was good. It was really good. Definitely worth a rewatch. And actually follow the creator on Facebook. We're actually Facebook friends. Number 13, Clone High. This MTV comedy was your typical high school show, except that all of the students were teenage clones of historical figures such as Mahatma Gandhi, Joan of Arc, and John F. Kennedy.
I do not remember this one.
I don't remember it either.
No.
But it was on MTV, and I didn't watch much on MTV.
No, neither did
I. But the FCC won't let me be, and they try to shut me down on MTV. But it feels so empty without me. Just saying. Number
Wow,
12.
did you just come up with those bars on the spot?
I did.
Wow. Whew, man.
Just
Step aside,
out of the blue.
Step aside, Eminem. You know, there's a new Slim Shady in town.
Number 12. Clerks, the animated series.
I was never a fan of the movie.
Really?
Mm,
I liked the first one.
right.
The second one left a lot to be desired.
Was that because he was stretching himself pretty thin, doing other passion projects and stuff? Or?
No, it wasn't that. It suffered from sequelitis, where we took the one thing that was good and then made the sequel and tried to do the same thing but more.
Right.
Yeah. Number 11, Mission Hill. The brainchild of longtime Simpsons producers Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein, Mission Hill provided a colorful characters and humorous social comedy. Initial run on the WB was stopped after only 2 episodes aired.
Oh, wow.
The show in its entirety didn't air until years later on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim. So there you go. I remember that kind of like
vaguely.
Yeah, I have a vague memory of it. Number 10, Earthworm Jim.
Yeah.
Yes.
100% agree with this.
Based off the video game character of the same name, Earthworm Jim followed the hero and his sidekick, Peter Puppy, on various space adventures and missions.
The animation was like fantastic. I thought it was great.
Was good.
Yeah. I love playing the game,
Mhm.
and then it like translated perfectly into a show.
Yeah, Earthworm Jim is one of those weird 90s characters, one of those weird niche characters where if you were a 90s kid and you mentioned Earthworm Jim, there's some that'll go, who the fuck was that? And others will go like, that was the greatest character ever.
His super suit did fall. Earthworm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And his games were amazing. His games were so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Because they looked like it was almost like a claymation type of animation in his games. It was weird. Anyway.
I told you about that I never got to see the ending of the one that I played on the Sega, right?
I don't think so.
My buddies and I, we were playing on our back porch, and we would like play the hell out of this game, but we kind of take turns, and we finally got to the very, very end where you have to defeat this like huge queen that had this like ginormous butt. Mm-hmm. You had to jump back and forth on it, and like we beat the game, and we're like, yes! And my buddy, he like Walter, he put down the controller, and we were like, yeah, we're watching like the final cutscene or whatever, and then he like picked it up because he thought it was like the end and just pressed start, so we never got to see it. And it was one of those games where you could only go back to, you know, like certain points in the game. Yeah, you pretty much had to beat it like in one sitting, like the whole entire game. Yeah, so I still don't know. I like looked for it on YouTube, couldn't find it. So.
Fucking Walter. Number 9, Duckman. Duckman was an adult aiming cartoon that has been largely overlooked. The struggle of high-strung Duckman, voiced by Jason Alexander, to balance his life as a private detective and a family man, provided hours of entertaining, surreal animation. Was this another one that aired on MTV? I can't remember.
Oh, it was Jason Alexander. He was the voice for it.
That's what I said in the
paragraph. Yeah. I was just like connected it though.
Okay.
You know, it's not like repeating what you had said there, but just like
okay.
Yeah.
No, I get you were connecting the dots in your brain.
I was like, oh, duh, Seinfeld.
Yeah. Okay. Number 8, SWAT Cats, the Radical Squadron.
I loved this show. It was great.
This action cartoon got lost in the shuffle during the 90s and aired in syndication on TBS. SWAT Cats saw vigilante pilots T-Bone and Razor fight evil monsters with their highly weaponized jet.
My younger brother and I, Logan, we would constantly like pretend that we were the SWAT Cats.
Yeah.
But like nobody wanted to be the one. Like, no, we had to take turns.
Which one, the big one?
Because he was like goofier. There was a cooler one, and then there was like kind of the goofier one. It's like, that's like being like Garfunkel. You know, nobody wants to be Garfunkel. They want to be Paul Simon.
Right. Of course. Yeah, I remember watching SWAT Cats a lot, and
for only having a few episodes, it seems like it was on a lot, right?
It aired in reruns a ton.
Oh yeah, right along with like Street Sharks and everything else.
And I remember thinking, yeah, it's okay. I don't think I liked it as much as a kid as I should have or could have.
Yeah.
Like I preferred watching like the Mighty Ducks cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Which I was crazy. Like I recently watched like a documentary on how the Anaheim got that team, and like that they only had it for a couple of years, and like there was a lot of because Disney at one point owned it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting how it all fell together and worked out perfectly because thanks in large part to the success of the movies.
Yeah. That's it's also why they kept the name, right? It's kind of capitalized on the
Yeah.
films. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Plus, that was such a cool jersey. That's like one of the coolest jerseys in the league.
Yeah.
Like to see a duck goalie face mask with some hockey sticks like crossbones. Yeah.
Number 7, Freakazoid.
That was a good one.
A cult favorite cartoon from Kids WB, Freakazoid featured comedic superhero antics and goofy parody. I'm also friends on Facebook with the voice of Freakazoid.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Number 6, Invader Zim. This was one of my brother's favorites.
Mine too. I have the whole box set.
Yeah.
Like that's a little house, and I have a poster actually in my bedroom of Gurr. Yeah.
Now, interesting thing is, Invader Zim, I think, was based on a comic book, or the comic book was based on the cartoon, but the comic book, super violent.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking super violent.
Compared to the
cartoon.
Yeah. But the cartoon saw way more success, and Hot Topic and Spencer's and everybody capitalized on that.
Yeah. Yeah, Invader Zim is a goth girl's wet dream.
Yeah.
That I like
the Christmas special and the movies and everything else. I thought that they were pretty decent.
That's another one I never really got into.
Only 3 seasons, but it was great.
Number 5. This one, however, Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
I fucking loved Space Ghost Coast to Coast. This 1994 oddity might have inspired the creation of the entire Adult Swim brand. Space Ghost Coast to Coast featured a little-known superhero from the 1960s and repurposed his bygone show's animation to create a bizarre talk show. Space Ghost show featuring his bandleader Zorak and director Moltar aired sporadically on Cartoon Network. New episodes appeared months or even years apart. Guest stars included Bjork, Jim Carrey, and Conan O'Brien.
That would be such I always thought it was would be really interesting to try to do an interview like that, you know, with a cartoon. But they played off each other really well.
Oh yeah, really well. And it's so funny because, like I said in that paragraph there, they took animation from his old 1960s cartoon and kind of plugged it into this talk show set.
Yeah, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah. Number 4, The Oblongs.
I remember the show. I didn't watch it all that much.
The animated black comedy featured Will Ferrell, that's why I didn't watch it, as the voice of the limbless Bob Oblong, the patriarch of a family of freaks. Despite the show's witty yet gross humor, The Oblongs was canceled after its first season on the WB. Luckily, the fans got to see the entire series in its entirety on, again, Adult Swim. So there you go.
Okay.
Number 3, Rocko's Modern Life. The Nicktoons of the 1990s offered a lot of entertainment for kids in the form of Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, and Doug, but Rocko's Modern Life was overlooked. The slice-of-life adventures of the Wallaby Rocko and his gluttonous buddy Heifer featured surreal animation, offbeat hilarity, and even snuck in some dirty jokes past the censors.
Oh, they definitely did. I wasn't allowed to watch this one.
Rocko was great.
Yeah.
Luckily, when I saw it, I was over at my grandma's, so I was basically by myself, and I was able to watch
Actually watch them? Yeah, nice.
Yeah, there was a part where he, to earn some extra cash, he did a phone sex line. I did not understand the joke at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he picked up the phone and went, "Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby." And it was one of his neighbors.
Are you also Facebook friends with the voice actors?
I'm not.
Okay. Just wondering.
I'm not. Carlos Alazraki. I'm not sure if he's on Facebook. Number 2, The Tick.
Ooh.
This parody of superheroes and their day-to-day lives was a cult favorite on Fox Kids. The nigh invulnerable Tick's goofy crime-fighting adventures made fans scream out, "Spoon!" in victory.
It was great, and if you haven't had a chance, check out on Amazon Prime the live-action Tick. Oh, it's fantastic. And
also, check out the first live-action series.
Yes,
That's good too.
Mm-hmm.
Check out everything The Tick.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's great.
Everything The Tick. Comics, TV shows, everything. It's good stuff. I am I am friends with the voice of Arthur.
Really?
Of course, that's Rob Paulson.
Yeah.
Of course I am. And the number 1, Gargoyles.
Yep.
The critically lauded Gargoyles featured a compelling story and serious tone that was missing from many cartoons. The series followed a group of medieval gargoyles who defend modern-day New York City from ancient evils.
This could have been something amazing, and I own them on DVD.
The first season,
yeah,
brilliant,
right,
so good. The second season,
yeah.
Was it the third season where they just kind of went off the rails?
They did, yeah. The first season, it was reminiscent of Batman the Animated Series, right? It was dark, gritty, and then they're just like, oh, we can capitalize on these toys. Let's make all sorts of different ones.
Yeah, so then they started making it a bit more lighthearted and not as gritty, and all of a sudden there were all kinds of gargoyles, even though they're supposed to be extinct, but whatever.
What? How?
I liked it too because there was a lot of cast from Star Trek: The Next Generation on that show.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. But yeah, there you go.
For the most part, a lot of the other shows get the recognition they deserve, but that was a really solid list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of Adult Swim,
are we doing This Week in Geek?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Oh, my bad. I was thinking that was part of it. That was like a story kind of a deal.
Nope,
I get it.
Separate thing.
Yep. Yeah, so let's get to it. This Week in Geek.
This Week in
Geek.
Speaking of Adult Swim, Rick and Morty, the animated series, is heading to Adult Swim. Ready for more Rick and Morty, A Wild World?
Nope.
Well, you're in luck, Troy, because we're about to see the show in a whole new way. Adult Swim has officially ordered Rick and Morty anime series. Of course, we've seen Rick and Morty animated shorts before, but they've been well short. This time, Rick and Morty, the anime, will get a full 10-length episodes, and it will be on HBO Max and Adult Swim. The animation on it is pretty solid, and it's cool because they're bringing back Toshishi Sano, who directed the Tower of God and a couple of these other episodes. So the animation is really decent. They are bringing back the voice cast, and I don't know. I'll definitely be checking it out. I know Troy will pass on it.
Yeah, I sure will.
It's got anime, and it's also got Rick and Morty. Just throw in Deadpool, and you've got the trifecta of shit that Troy hates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I cannot abide Rick and Morty. It's just, it's.
No, I feel like at this point, you've really legit given it a try.
I have
a thorough chance.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's a very pop culture-y show.
Right.
And it's kind of at one point was a parody of Back to the Future, and there's lots of, like I said, lots of pop culture references and
lots
stuff
of things that you would like. Yeah.
Yeah. And I tried it, and I cannot get past the voices. They grind my nerves. And it's annoying. And I hear largely a lot of the dialogue is improvised.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Which I can totally hear.
Well, I personally am going to watch it. You also, speaking of animated shows, you should definitely check out the 3rd season of Love, Death, and Robots. Just dropped the other day.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a watch. If you haven't, start with season 1. The 4th episode is by far my favorite, but they're all fantastic.
Okay.
The 2nd season is all like, it's not as good as the first, but it's still really solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So get ready for Wonka-esque lickable TV screens you can taste. Willy Wonka first introduced us to his questionable dream of lickable wallpaper, but that was before we could hold screens in the palm of our hands. Now the dream evolves with a device called Taste the TV. Soon we may all get the opportunity to incorporate yet another of our senses, taste, into our viewing experiences. Meiji University professor Homi Miyashita wants to introduce flavor into, or rather, onto our screen time with lickable screens. So, here's how it would work. The device contains 10 flavor canisters, according to Global News. These 10 canisters contain flavors that make up the flavors we taste in food. Some examples include salty, sour, sweet, bitter, and savory. The device sprays a programmed combination of these flavors onto a hygienic film, which is rolled onto a screen. Then viewers can lick the film and eat, quote-unquote, what they see before them. Currently, 20 food types are available, but the ultimate goal is much greater. You know what first popped in my head when I read this?
What was that?
Porn. Right?
Yeah.
Lickable screens?
Yeah.
Porn.
Right.
It's only a matter of time.
I thought of something from like The Big Bang Theory where you're able to like make out with somebody else.
Yeah, I don't understand that reference.
Yeah.
Because that's another show that can burn in hell.
I don't know how I feel about this. I think it'd be kind of weird. Would it have to just kind of attack?
I think this is fucking gross.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Because one, you got the film over your screen.
Right.
This canister spray the crap on the film, which is still on your phone, by the way.
Right.
And then you're licking the film with the stuff sprayed on, which is still on your phone. So how do you, is your phone going to be 100% protected from this?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I would hope it would be.
See, I always thought it'd be cool because, like, I watched a lot of cooking shows growing up, and like all the time I'll watch them, and I'll be like, that dish looks really delicious, but it's not going to be the same. You know, you're just getting one of those senses, like, oh yeah, this on this screen, lick this corner, or do this, or whatever.
Like, oh, it's savory. Okay. Oh, salty. Okay, great. Which again goes back to porn. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I want smell-o-vision.
Really?
Yes.
I love that. Have you ever gone to Disneyland where they do like the soaring over California? Yeah, that's perfect. When they go over the orange groves and orchards and stuff, and you start smelling the citrus, I'm like, oh, that's great.
That's what I want in my TV. Again, porn. Just saying. There's a lot of stuff there.
Right. That lends itself well to porn.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't be scared, AJ. Don't be scared of it.
Embrace this.
Embrace it.
Well, why aren't you embracing the lickable stuff? 'Cause that's just weird. You draw the line.
Yeah, I gotta draw the line somewhere. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll smell porn. I'm not gonna taste it, but I'll smell it.
I'll smell the hell out of it.
Oh,
yeah. It is being reported that Robert Downey Jr. is keen on casting his friend Johnny Depp in Sherlock Holmes 3. After Amber Heard trial, this report came via... Which, that trial... It's going on forever and a day.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen more on like TikTok and like on my Facebook feed than I've ever wanted to see of this whole trial.
Do yourself a favor though, and go watch when they interview Jason Momoa.
Oh, I have. Yeah, where he's on TV talking back and
He
forth.
just does not give a fuck.
No, he'll say whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I thought that was like fake at first when I first
Me
watched
too.
it.
I
I'm like,
thought it was.
there's
Yeah.
no way they like allowed this, and then like, man, Johnny Depp is just laughing
Mhm.
his ass off the whole entire time. Okay, do you also think that Amber, was she just blowing her nose, or was that something else?
I don't know.
It looked suspicious.
It does. It did look suspicious.
Yeah.
It did look suspicious.
But yeah, fan wires reporting that Robert Downey Jr. always wanted to work with this famous personality. It also back in 2008, he kind of was in touch with Johnny Depp at the time and kind of helped him when we all know that Robert Downey Jr. Went through a rough patch to say the least.
To say the least.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have gotten like Iron Man or Sherlock Holmes or all these other movies like without him. So you also have a theory as to why?
Yeah. So before Iron Man, when Robert Downey Jr. was in, the lowest he was, no one was hiring him. No movie studios were hiring him.
Right.
Mel Gibson made a film called. Hang on. Mel Gibson RDJ movie. It was called Air America.
Okay.
And it was way back in 1990. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is when RDJ was just like doing all the drugs, right? Mel Gibson hired him.
Yeah.
To work on that film, kind of give him a bit more cred, give him a bit more money, try to start to jumpstart his career again. And so I think that's kind of what Robert Downey Jr. now is doing for Johnny
He's
Depp.
paying it forward.
Yeah. It's kind of like it may be tough for you to get jobs after this, but hey, when we do Sherlock 3, you got a job if you want it. So
I appreciate that he's doing this,
Sure.
but I almost don't feel like Johnny Depp is untouchable as far as celebrities go. After this trial and seeing all the crazy stuff that's like come out of it, yeah, he's definitely done some like shit himself. He's
Sure.
he's not clean entirely, but I don't feel like he's as untouchable as Amber is in Hollywood.
No,
But this will definitely be like a nice leg up for him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it. If it is a little tough for him to get jobs.
Yeah, he's already got this he's got this movie that's going to be a blockbuster hit. I am so stoked. I've been wanting to see the another Sherlock Holmes movie because I think he does a fantastic job as Sherlock. Like he plays the character really well, and that's pretty much. I mean, it's not much of a stretch because he's already played like Iron Man, and these kind of characters.
Yeah.
So. So the first Iron Man came out in 2008.
Yes.
And then the first Sherlock Holmes movie was 2009. And then I think it was like 2000 bumped to like 2011 or so for the second one.
Was the first one 2009?
It was pretty close. Like they were like...
I thought it was like 2013 or something. Or maybe that was a sequel. Every time I think of Sherlock Holmes...
Oh, yeah, 2009. Boom.
Okay. When did the sequel come out?
Let's see. Sherlock Holmes 2. A Game of Shadows came out in 2011. Boom. 2011. Called it.
Okay. All right.
So it'll have been quite some time, over 10 years.
Yeah.
Before this next one comes out, but I'm still looking forward to it.
All right. I got a BJ watching Sherlock Holmes once.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
In the theater?
No.
Oh.
No.
I was like, oh wow. Props.
No. It was on DVD.
It was on. You're like, it was on VHS. You're like, I don't even remember that movie.
How young was I? That's gross, man. All right. So Leonard Nimoy's family donates Spock's ears to the Smithsonian.
Yes.
There are a few prosthetic applications in sci-fi more famous than those of Leonard Nimoy's pointed Vulcan ears, and while making the original Star Trek, Nimoy knew they were special mementos from a groundbreaking series. When the series wrapped in 1968, Spock's ears came home with him. Afterward, he kept them in a special case. As it was, Nimoy's character would say the logical thing to do. Now, via Boing Boing,
A reliable source.
Boing Boing,
Yeah.
we've learned that Nimoy's family recently donated the world-famous ears to the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. More like National Ear and Space Museum.
No.
And you can watch the Smithsonian Conversation Labs unboxing video of these ears below.
I always wanted to go to the Smithsonian.
Me too.
I always thought it'd be kind of cool, but at the same time, and I get that there's like 60 pieces, lots of costumes from like Star Wars and stuff in there, but the whole goal of the Smithsonian is to the increase and diffusion of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
This is not helping. Like,
Sure it is.
I feel like it's just turning into more of like a cool, like, go check these out. How is it helping with knowledge?
It's an increase of knowledge of pop culture and entertainment and TV. They have a whole section of entertainment props. Stuff that was important to not only the TV landscape, but the American landscape.
But how is that
American
increasing
culture.
knowledge? That just to like know our past, like
Yes.
our pop culture
Yes.
past.
Kids today
Okay.
don't know who the fuck Archie Bunker was, but if they go to the Smithsonian, they'll see his chair sitting there and like, Mom, who's Archie Bunker? Well, let me tell you. There's a show called All in the Family, and it was this, very groundbreaking, blah, blah, blah. It sparks conversation.
So anything can be like thrown in the mix.
No, not anything.
A lock of Chewbacca's
No.
hair, or one of his costumes.
Well, sure. Because Star Wars was important in
You could make a
American
case for like
landscape.
anything to go in there. Then
Bullshit.
Absolutely could. Yeah, for any TV show because it's part of pop culture.
No. If it's not, it's not like groundbreaking. It's not something that redefined television as it was. Like
His ears
like
did
All in
that,
the Family.
or his character.
No, Star Trek did it.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
so
That's
couldn't
the
you just
point.
put like a DVD, Blu-ray set of Star Wars in there or Star Trek and just call it good?
No.
Then his ears, that seems like a stretch.
Because it was a prop. It was something that was on the set. It was something that he used. It
Yeah.
was there.
No.
They're not going to throw in a DVD. That's fucking stupid.
Lies. That sparks more of a conversation.
How?
Because
How?
then you can be like,
Please.
hey, let's watch this together as a
Oh
family.
my God.
Boom!
So hang on. You're telling me
Yeah.
they're going to put a DVD in a museum, a Blu-ray DVD in a museum. To you, that makes more sense
Then ears? Yes. Yep, absolutely.
than actual props or costumes.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
It makes absolute more sense. 100% more sense.
That's fucking stupid. I'm just telling you right now.
Lies.
That is fucking stupid.
Lies. His ears.
You can't just say
Who the hell
lies. No, it's
Mhm.
fucking stupid.
Well,
because
okay,
the
you can't
DVD
just say it's fucking stupid and then like that's your point. Like,
The DVD
and I say lies.
has nothing to do with the show itself. The ears do, the props do, the costumes do. They were there on set.
Well, they should be
That's
in
what
like
you saw.
they should be in some sort of pop culture museum, not the Smithsonian, where you're trying to like increase knowledge and.
The pop culture
Let's put
section.
some dinosaurs back in there.
It has dinosaurs.
I know. Wait, you haven't been though, but like I know it does. It has a lot of cool things, but like I feel like it's getting all pushed out because
It's not getting pushed out.
they're just making it bigger.
The Smithsonian it's not like it's just one building.
No, yeah,
It's many buildings spread
Right.
over this huge area.
Right.
So there's one small part here of television and movie stuff, and then the rest is like all history.
yeah.
It's not getting pushed out. Nothing's getting pushed out.
I feel like it is.
How do you feel like it is? Explain that.
Because
How do you feel like it is?
allow me to explain. You say explain that, and then you just like cut me off. Let me talk, Troy.
I'm just going after what you do usually.
I know. I know. Hey, this is just entertainment here.
That's all it is.
Yeah. So I feel like it's getting like there's other things, historical things that could be in there or made a case to be put in there, and it's getting pushed out by a lot of other pop culture stuff. I guess they could make more wings and have one in like entirely or something, but I just don't feel like it's on. It's all that much you would need it like millions of years down the road. Would you care about that so much as like other cool interesting things that we have from the past?
Can I talk now? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I give you permission.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. So my argument is this.
Yeah.
It's a part of history. It's a part of our culture.
Yeah.
You know, it is a part of the landscape of American television and entertainment and pop culture. You know, that's why it's in the museum. It should be important because that's an important aspect of our culture.
Yeah.
Yes, history is good, and you know, presidents and wars and all that. Yeah, that's good too. But at the same time, you know, where did America turn when wars were going on? Where did they turn to relax? Where did they turn
TV.
for entertainment? TV,
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
You know, Star Trek was important because it was one of the first ones that tackled political topics, that tackled race, that tackled indigenous problems. You know, it was inclusive. It had the first African American woman as a main character. You had the first interracial kiss. That's why Star Trek is so important.
Why not put up like their costumes or other like the whole, you know, put up like other props or like the props that they used for the ship, like the ship, the Enterprise, right? Put that in there rather than just like a pair of ears.
Because one, we don't know actually what's in there.
Right.
I don't know what's in there.
No.
It might be.
Yeah.
And two, those props, who knows where they are at this point.
Right. So they're grasping, like looking for the past and trying to like keep it, preserve it.
Or it was even, hey, Leonard Nimoy's family reaching out like, hey, do you want these?
Yeah. And they said, all right, sure.
Yes, because it's important.
You've made a case for Star Trek to be in the Smithsonian because of all that it's done, but I don't know, that's just an interesting prop piece to throw into the mix. To be like beside or in a different wing than like, you know, a T-Rex or like the gun, like the assassin, like the gun that took out JFK.
But
or
it's
like
not,
all these
though.
other.
It's not. It's not nearby. That's the thing.
But
It's
like it's still in the Smithsonian though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're saying that within museums we should only have historical stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But historical meaning stuff that was not filmed. So no historical TV or movie stuff, only historical. What? How do you differentiate that?
See, that's where, well...
How is Spock's costume, if it is there, any different than seeing like what George Washington wore to a wedding? How is that any different?
It's not. I'm just saying, well, okay, what George Washington wore to a wedding, like, and these ears, are they on par with each other?
No, but they're both important. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not just. I think what you're not understanding is it's not the ears themselves. It's not like the ears. You know that like that's what's important. No, it's
then that's what they put in there. That's what they chose to put in there.
Because
preserve.
Yes, because you just cut me off.
Yeah.
You're yelling at me
Yeah.
because
Bullshit! I just throw in a couple of those.
it's what the ears represent. The ears represent the show. They more represent what the show means.
We couldn't find anything else better to represent the show.
Again, I don't know what they have in there.
Yeah, neither do I. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm feeling like there should be something. I don't think that would make the cut normally, unless they didn't have much in there. Like a whole, like I would legit want. Well, in this wing, I'd want to see a full Chewbacca suit and some other stuff, or maybe a lightsaber or two.
So just a lightsaber? What does that have to do with anything? Why is that important?
Well, you see, Troy, Star Wars, it would define.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if they're just going to have a lightsaber, why not just throw in the DVD of Star Wars then?
They should. There should be one, or VHS.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems weird that...
Your arguments are breaking down. I just want to let you know that.
So are yours.
Stranger Things.
Yes. Season 4. So, Stranger Things is just a week away. It's going to come out on May 27th. And while it's not the final season, because they have a greenlit season 5, it is just... Well, so they recently released... Netflix recently cut down... one of their cut down blogs, Tudum, is reporting that Stranger Things Season 4 will be 9 supersized episodes. We've seen this before, but it's usually an increase of about 5 to 15 minutes. But no, these are massive episodes. Episode 1 through 6 are about an hour and 15 minutes each. Episode 7 is going to be an hour 38. Episode 8 is going to be an hour 25, and episode 9 is going to be 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Jesus.
Right? That's a whole damn movie right there.
It is.
So they did get a budget of $30 million per episode, which is pretty, like, it's, I don't think it's on par with, like, Game of Thrones, but it's up there for sure.
Yeah.
For Netflix throwing that much money at them, that's quite a bit.
No wonder Netflix has money problems.
Right? And they need to increase their damn costs every once in a while. I don't have a problem with this because that means that the running time will be about 13 hours in total, which is fine for like a season.
Yeah.
The problem that I'm having with it is that's a long ass episode to just be sitting there for, you know what I mean? I feel like there should have done like some sort of, maybe done like 15 episodes at about an hour a piece,
sure.
or I guess 13 episodes, or something, kind of spaced it out a little bit, but that's a large chunk of time to just be chilling there watching one episode.
Yeah, I wonder if it was like they just had so much story to tell, maybe there wasn't just anything they could cut from it.
Even after editing, like... Yeah, that's...
2 hours and 30 minutes for one episode. That's insane.
You would think that would honestly be like the season, like the series finale or something, right?
Yeah.
I guess that would be the case, but this is just another season.
Yeah.
They have so much content. I honestly felt like they should have just done 4 seasons, because nobody cares after they get out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then just call it quit. Like, do those 4 years, have them move on, and be fine. But they've already greenlit a season 5.
Yeah, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for sure this would be the last season.
Same. Me too. Going in, I'm like, oh, it's going to have a finite, like, amount of time. This is what they're going to, like, count on.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Okay.
I don't
know. So, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is getting a reboot. 20th Century Studios and Hulu will be rebooting The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, based off of writer Alan Moore and artist Kevin O'Neill's critically acclaimed comic series. So, if you don't know, basically the premise of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is, it's like if you took the Justice League, but it was classic literary characters,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Captain Nemo, the Invisible Man,
Dorian Gray,
and they all teamed up, essentially.
Tom Sawyer's in the mix.
Mhm.
Captain Nemo, yeah.
Alan Quartermain.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all for a reboot because I think I've said this before. I saw the movie in film about 5 or 6 times,
Right. Yeah.
or in theaters. I mean, I don't know why.
Came out right after you graduated.
Yeah.
And
But I
you
saw
held
it a
to
lot.
it, yeah.
And there's good stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
It was just executed poorly.
It was.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
The
No,
concept
fantastic
is good.
idea. Yeah.
But so I think with a reboot and throwing it up on Hulu, I think they'll have more time to tell more story. And
I think it
I'm all
has a
for
better
it.
chance, yeah. I would totally watch this show. Do you think they'll get any of the original cast back?
No.
No?
They've all distanced themselves from that project.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
It made Sean Connery quit show business. That was the movie where he was like, I'm fucking done. This is all ridiculous. Yeah. And yeah, I would be very surprised if that was the case.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, if you're sorry, if you're listening to this, we're fine.
Yeah, we're good.
Fine. It's like two brothers fighting.
Exactly.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, you're just like, yeah.
There's no ill feelings there. Everything's fine. People listening like, they're fighting.
This is the end of the podcast.
No. Okay.
Some healthy debate,
Exactly. With a few fucks thrown in.
Exactly.
For good measure.
Let's get to our Revs and Rex.
Yes, let's.
So I came across this a while ago and was meaning to read it. I had it on my shelf. It was sitting there, and I kept eyeing it. And I'm like, I really got to check this out. It's called Stray Dogs. Felix Faustner and Simpson Rodriguez were the two that created this thing. So what it is, there's this gentleman, there's this little dog, and I don't want to give anything away, but she's with her owner, and then all of a sudden, she's taken from her owner, and she's brought to this, farm/home place where there's a ton of other dogs.
Mm-hmm.
The illustration in this is fantastic.
It is.
I loved it.
It's kind of like almost Disney-esque.
Yeah, but it's much, much darker.
Right.
So they're all there, and they realize that their owner might not be the best person, but because they have really their shit when it comes to short-term memory, it's only through finding pieces of their past owners and smelling them that they're kind of they have some recollection of this, that this happens. And so...
Oh my god, this is dark.
Yeah. You see the Dalmatian?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's a really dark and gritty thing, but it has a Disney feel to it at the same time.
It does.
The ending's pretty, it'll leave you thinking for a minute. But yeah, it was a great, solid, quick read. Only took me an hour or so. Stray Dogs, you'll definitely, you'd want to check it out. I would say there were some things that I liked about it, and there was other things that, they kept bringing up. I got it once they first said it in the beginning. They're like, oh, she won't remember this this flu shot or these shots that she's getting because she's got a horrible short-term memory, so she'll be fine. But then they kept kind of bringing that up occasionally, and I'm like, no, I got it. I just read it 10 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that I didn't like. The story is pretty solid, and yeah, they go all Animal Farm style. I like with this place. Out of 5 dogs, I would give this one. I'd say I'm about almost like it's on borderline. Yeah, no, I'd give it a 3. I'd give it a 3. It's a little bit above average, especially the illustration in it.
Oh, they're trying to call 911.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that owner is not a nice dude.
Wow. All right.
But there you have it.
So, what I want to talk about now, sometimes when you're on the streaming sites and you're like, I want to watch something I haven't watched before,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's like you're looking. Well, this is how I came across this. This is on Hulu, and it's from the History Channel. It's The Food That Built America. Now, this is fascinating stories about the families behind the food that built America. Those who used brains, muscle, blood, and sweat and tears to get to America's heart through its stomach. Those who invented new technologies and helped win wars. Now, what's fascinating about this is they couch it in like basically feuds between two companies. So, for example, they talk about the feud between Kellogg's and Post when they first start, or the feud between McDonald's and Burger King, and then they use those to kind of talk about how the company got started, the background of these companies, the people that started them.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating. There are some cheesy parts because they do reenactments, so they have actors do this.
Yeah. Not the best actors.
Yeah. And the acting sometimes a little hinky, but it's really fascinating because these are all like true stories, and you see what these people did to get these companies started, like Kellogg's, like Hershey's, like like Heinz, these companies that have been around forever that you just think, oh, they just showed up and everybody loved them. No, they had to compete.
Right.
And what they did to win, and it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
Does it make you not like resent and not want to eat at certain places?
No.
Oh, okay.
For some, I'm like, I will like support these guys
for what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like Hershey's, for example. He just didn't build a factory. He built an entire fucking town.
Right.
So that people...
The town of Hershey.
Yeah. So that people would have
jobs,
would live,
and homes.
And work, close, so they didn't have to have like long commutes and stuff like that. And it was kind of a self-sustaining society.
That is pretty similar to what they've done like in these coal mining towns, right? That's kind of what it felt like initially.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really fascinating, and so I highly suggest you check it out. I mean, you wouldn't think that the creation of chewing gum would be interesting.
Yeah.
But it really is, and it sparked this whole feud between these two gum companies, and yeah. Spoiler alert: Wrigley's won. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. Check it out on Hulu.
Out
of 5, hamburgers.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give it 4.
Oh wow!
Because I sat there on my day off and binged all 3 seasons.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. Now on Hulu they've compacted into like basically like 1-2 seasons, but yeah, it's you watch it, you might get hooked. So.
One of the other shows that I ended up binging was on Netflix. It was Ozark, the 4th and final season.
Mhm.
All the other seasons, 1, 2, and 3, have all been 10 episodes, but this season was 14, and they dropped, I believe it was like the first 7, or like half of it, and then they waited for a while, and then decided to drop the other half of it. And I kind of sat on the back burner for a little bit, and it was like, should I watch it? And I kept seeing, how like on Netflix where it'll say like new episodes down below. So I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, I'll just finish the series. And overall, like, because this is the final season, I was really tentative going in because I wanted to like Google, hey, is there going to be a 5th season? But I didn't want like anything spoiled for me, so I'm just
Right.
like, no, I'm not going to worry about it. But like, yeah, there is only the 4 seasons, and it felt kind of like the Hatfields and the McCoys kind of going back and forth a little bit. It was pretty gritty. I didn't realize that Jason Bateman, he directed the first season of it, and throughout the whole entire series, it still has that same dark, gritty feel about it. The Ozarks is a fascinating like place, and I'm still like sitting mulling over the ending. Whether I feel like, I mean, for the most part, for most of the characters, it ended well. Like, and I see how their characters developed, and that arc was there. But for one person, I'm just like, was that really necessary? There was a couple of moves that I was like questioning.
Mhm.
So for the 4th season as a standalone, if I'm doing it like that, out of 5 guns, for the 4th season, I think I'm at about a 3.5.
Okay.
But for the series as a whole, which is nice because they also do have a farewell to Ozark, which is like a half an hour special that kind of like shows you behind the scenes, and you get to hear from all the actors from all the seasons. So it's kind of a nice little send off. But as a series as a whole, I think I'm sitting at a 4 with it. It's pretty solid. Like, it's on par with Breaking Bad. There'll be some moments where you're just like, oh, that's kind of cheesy, or oh, this wasn't really like necessary, or it was just okay. But they had enough like interesting, shocking moments that you're just like, okay, I'm kind of hooked. I'm buying into this. So
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely worth a watch if you haven't checked it out. It's a good one. It's a binge worthy one.
All right. Yeah, I watched the first season. And I kept meaning to go back, but I haven't yet.
No, I was the same way. That I watched it, and like then they dropped the 3rd season. I'm like, oh, I should really check out these other seasons. And yeah, now it's like the 4th season. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's wrap this baby up. Here's where you can listen to us. You can hear all our episodes, plus our bonus DLC episodes at patreon.com/worldwarg.
Or you can listen to just the episodes at worldwarg.podbeam.com or wherever you download your podcasts.
If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us at facebook.com/worldwargpodcast. If you'd like to purchase our merchandise or perch some merch, you can head to worldwarg.myspreadshop.com.
Also, if you'd like to show support for the podcast, the best way to do that is to rate, review, or share us.
So, this has been World War G. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends. And go to the Smithsonian. Check it out.